The antique clock in my Charleston restaurant chimed 6 when my daughter called. I wiped flour from my hands and answered. "Mom, I need to tell you something." Emily's voice carried that breathless excitement I hadn't heard in years. "I'm bringing someone to Thanksgiving dinner. Her name is Natalie, and Mom, I think she's the one." I set down the pastry bag. "That's wonderful, sweetheart. How long have you been seeing her?" 3 months. I know it seems fast, but when you meet her, you'll understand. She's incredible. 3 months. My daughter, who'd been single for 2 years after her last relationship ended badly, was now head over heels for someone I'd never heard of. Every instinct in my body went on alert. "I can't wait to meet her," I said, keeping my voice warm. "What does she do?" "She's a lifestyle influencer. Wellness and luxury travel. She has almost 200,000 followers on Instagram." After we hung up, I sat at my desk in the restaurant office, staring at the family photos on the wall. I'd built this business from nothing after my husband died 15 years ago. Southern comfort food with a fine dining twist. The critics loved us. The locals loved us. And I'd worked myself to exhaustion to give Emily every opportunity. Now she was bringing home an influencer she'd known for 3 months to our family Thanksgiving. I pulled out my phone and searched for Natalie. It took me 10 minutes to find her account. Natalie Chen, 28, based in Charleston. Her feed was a curated dream. Designer clothes, 5-star hotels, green juice, and inspirational quotes about manifesting abundance. Something about those perfectly staged photos made my chest tighten. The week before Thanksgiving, Emily asked if she could bring Natalie by the restaurant. "She's dying to see it, Mom. She loves authentic Southern cuisine." They arrived during the lunch rush. Emily practically glowed, her hand never leaving Natalie's. Natalie was petite, polished, with perfect posture, and a smile that showed every tooth. "Mrs. Harrison, Emily has told me so much about you." Natalie's handshake was firm, her eye contact unwavering. "This place is absolutely charming, so authentic." I showed them around, watching how Natalie's eyes cataloged everything. The exposed brick walls, the antique chandelier I'd salvaged from an estate sale, the kitchen with its commercial equipment. "How many covers do you do on a typical night?" Natalie asked. "About 120 on weekends," I said. "And the building? Do you own or lease?" "I own it." Emily jumped in. "Mom bought it 20 years ago, before this neighborhood got trendy. It's probably worth—" "Emily, our lunch special is ready," I interrupted. "Let's eat." Over she crab soup and fried green tomatoes, Natalie asked more questions. How many staff did I employ? What was my busiest season? Did I have investors, or was it solely mine? Had I thought about franchising? I answered politely, but each question felt like an assessment. Emily didn't seem to notice. She was too busy gazing at Natalie like she'd hung the moon. After they left, my sous chef Maria came out of the kitchen. "That girl asked a lot of questions." "Didn't she?" I said. "My cousin follows her on Instagram. Says she's always posting about luxury stuff, but Maria thinks it's all borrowed or fake. The designer bags, the first-class flights. Something doesn't add up." I went back to my office and did what I should have done a week ago. I looked deeper. Natalie's Instagram was immaculate, but her older posts told a different story. 2 years ago, she'd been a real estate agent in Atlanta. Before that, a personal trainer in Miami. Each career shift came with a geographical move and a complete rebranding. I found a YouTube video from a year ago where she talked about manifesting wealth and aligning with abundance. She mentioned having financial challenges but overcoming them through strategic partnerships. Strategic partnerships. My phone buzzed. "Emily, Natalie wants to come early on Thanksgiving to help cook. Isn't that sweet?" I stared at the message, that familiar maternal instinct screaming, but I texted back, "Of course. The more hands, the better." Natalie arrived Wednesday evening while Emily was stuck in traffic. I was in my home kitchen, prepping ingredients for the next day's feast. My house was a restored Victorian I'd bought with my late husband, filled with antiques and family heirlooms. Mrs. Harrison, let me help you with that. Natalie took the knife from my hand before I could protest and started dicing celery with impressive speed. You know your way around a kitchen, I said. I used to work in restaurants. Before I found my calling in wellness and lifestyle content, she glanced around my kitchen. This house is incredible. Original hardwood? Crown molding? These homes in the historic district are worth a fortune now. It's been in the family a long time. You must have had it appraised recently. For insurance purposes. I smiled tightly. Not recently, no. She moved to the sink, her eyes pausing on the framed photos on the windowsill. Me and Emily at her college graduation. Me and my late husband at the restaurant opening. Emily as a child. Emily mentioned you're thinking about retirement soon, Natalie said casually. I froze. Did she? She said you've been talking about selling the restaurant and traveling. You've worked so hard, you deserve it. Natalie turned, her smile warm. Have you thought about what you'll do with the proceeds? I haven't decided anything yet. Of course. It's just that Emily mentioned you might want to help her get established, maybe invest in her future. Natalie's tone was light, but her eyes were calculating. She's so talented, but graphic design is competitive. Having capital to start her own agency would change everything for her. The front door opened. Emily burst in, arms full of groceries. Mom! Natalie! Sorry I'm late. Traffic was insane. Natalie's demeanor shifted instantly. She became softer, more deferential. Your mom and I were just getting to know each other better. That night, lying awake in my bedroom, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was watching a performance. The way Natalie's questions probed for information about assets, finances, future plans. The way she subtly planted seeds about Emily needing capital. Thursday morning, my home filled with the scent of roasting turkey and baking pies. Emily and Natalie set the dining room table while I worked in the kitchen. My sister Patricia arrived first, then my cousin James with his family. During appetizers, I watched Natalie work the room. She was charming, attentive, quick with compliments. She took selfies with everyone, posting them to her Instagram story with captions about family and gratitude and Southern hospitality. But I also watched her photograph my house, the grandfather clock in the hallway, the antique sideboard in the dining room, the original chandelier, each photo carefully framed as if documenting an inventory. Dinner was magnificent, if I do say so myself. The turkey was perfect, the sides were abundant, and the conversation flowed. Emily kept touching Natalie's hand, her face glowing with happiness. It broke my heart a little, knowing what I was thinking about the woman my daughter loved. After dinner, while everyone was having pie, Natalie leaned close to me. Mrs. Harrison, could I speak with you privately? Just for a moment? We went to my study. She closed the door behind us. I want to thank you for welcoming me into your family, she began. Emily means everything to me. She's very special. She is, and I want to give her the life she deserves. Natalie sat on the edge of my desk, her posture casual, but her eyes intense. I have an incredible business opportunity, a wellness retreat center in Asheville. It's a ground floor investment that could return 10 times the initial capital within 3 years. That sounds ambitious. I have the business plan, the market research, everything. But I need investors. The bank wants a co-signer with established credit and assets. She paused. Someone like you. My blood ran cold. You want me to co-sign a business loan. I want to offer you a partnership. Your capital and credit backing, my expertise and following, we split the profits. And Emily would be part of it too. Imagine, a family business that could support all of us. How much are we talking about? $500,000. With your restaurant as collateral, the bank would... Natalie, I interrupted quietly. I'm not going to co-sign a loan for someone I met 2 weeks ago. Her smile didn't falter, but something shifted in her eyes. I understand. It's a big ask, But Emily told me you'd want to help her future. You've always supported her dreams. I support Emily, not business ventures from people I don't know. Of course. She stood, smoothing her dress. I just thought, given how serious Emily and I are, you'd want to invest in our future together. But I respect your decision. She reached for the door, then paused. Although I have to say I'm surprised. Emily's told me so much about how generous you are, how you'd do anything for her. I'd hate for her to think her own mother doesn't believe in her relationship. The implied threat hung in the air. What are you saying, Natalie? She turned, her face arranged in concern. I'm saying that Emily is deeply invested in our future. If you reject our plans, reject me. It might devastate her. She might have to choose between us, and I'd hate to see that choice hurt your relationship with her. I stood slowly, meeting her eyes. Are you threatening me? Of course not. Her smile was saccharine. I'm just being honest about the dynamics. Emily loves me. If you make her choose, you might not like the outcome. She left the study. I stood there, shaking with rage and fear. This wasn't about a business loan. This was about control, manipulation, isolating Emily from anyone who might protect her. I knew what I had to do, but I also knew that if I moved too quickly, too obviously, I'd lose Emily completely. The next morning I called my attorney, Richard Chen. We'd worked together for years on the restaurant's legal matters. Richard, I need a favor. I need a background check, financial records, anything you can find on someone. I gave him Natalie's information. He called back 6 hours later. Margaret, you need to sit down for this. Natalie Chen wasn't her real name. She'd been born Natalie Kowalski in Miami. She had a history of targeting wealthy women in the LGBTQ community, using romantic relationships to access their finances. There were civil suits in Atlanta and Miami, both settled quietly. Her influencer lifestyle was a facade. The designer clothes were rented. The luxury travel was comped in exchange for exposure. Her follower count was partially bought. And her last wellness retreat business in Atlanta had collapsed, leaving 3 investors bankrupt. There's more, Richard said grimly. She has an associate, someone who helps her identify and research potential targets. They work as a team. Who? I don't have a name yet. But there's a pattern. Natalie builds the relationship, makes promises, then her partner applies additional pressure, usually through blackmail or manufactured crises. I thanked him and hung up. Then I sat in my empty restaurant thinking, I could show Emily this information right now. But would she believe me? She was in love. She'd see it as her homophobic mother trying to sabotage her happiness. Natalie would spin it as persecution, as jealousy. Emily would choose Natalie, and I'd lose my daughter. No. I needed Emily to see the truth herself. I needed to control the battlefield. That Sunday, Emily called. Mom, can we talk? Natalie and I have been discussing something important. They came to my house. Natalie's demeanor was different now, more businesslike. She sat on my couch like she belonged there. Mrs. Harrison, I want to be direct, Natalie said. Emily and I are planning our future together. We're looking at houses. Nice houses, in good neighborhoods. But with the market the way it is, we need help with the down payment. Emily jumped in. Mom, I know it's a lot to ask, but if you could help us with maybe $100,000, we'd pay you back, of course. Think of it as an early inheritance. Early inheritance. Those words made my stomach turn. And, Natalie continued smoothly, we'd like you to add both of us to your will, equal beneficiaries with Emily. It would show that you accept our relationship, that you see me as family. I looked at my daughter's hopeful face. Emily, honey, could you give Natalie and me a moment alone? Mom, please. Emily left reluctantly. Natalie's pleasant expression hardened the moment we were alone. Let me be clear, I said quietly. I'm not giving you money. I'm not co-signing anything, and I'm certainly not changing my will. Natalie's smile was cold. That's unfortunate, because Emily's happiness depends on you supporting us. And if you don't, she pulled out her phone, scrolling through photos. It would be terrible if certain allegations came out. About inappropriate behavior toward your daughter's girlfriend. About me feeling unsafe in your home. I felt like I'd been slapped. You'd lie about me? I'd tell my truth. About how you made unwanted advances. How you've been hostile to me because you can't handle your daughter being gay. How you've created a toxic environment. She leaned forward. The thing about social media, Mrs. Harrison, is that allegations spread faster than denials. Your restaurant, your reputation, your relationship with Emily, all of it could be destroyed in a day. Emily would never believe that. Maybe not at first, but over time, with the right narrative, she'd wonder, she'd doubt, and doubt is enough to poison a relationship. Natalie stood. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to support our house purchase. You're going to change your will, and you're going to welcome me into this family with open arms. Or I'll destroy everything you've built, including your relationship with your daughter. She called Emily back in. My daughter looked between us, sensing tension. Everything okay? Emily asked. Your mother and I were just finalizing details, Natalie said sweetly. She's agreed to help us. Haven't you, Mrs. Harrison? I looked at my daughter's face, saw the hope there, the love, and I knew that if I refused right now, Natalie would implement her threats immediately. We'll discuss it, I said carefully. Emily hugged me. Thank you, Mom. I knew you'd come around. After they left, I sat in my study, shaking. Then I picked up my phone and called Richard. I need more than a background check, I said. I need a plan. Over the next 2 weeks, Richard and I built our case carefully. We hired a private investigator who documented everything. Natalie's fake Instagram lifestyle, her rented designer clothes, her meetings with someone we identified as her partner, Marcus Wells, who had his own history of financial fraud. We found 3 of Natalie's previous victims, women who'd lost money and been too embarrassed to pursue it legally. We got their statements, their evidence, their stories. We also set up surveillance. My house, my restaurant, everywhere Natalie went. We needed to document her threats, her manipulation, her true intentions. Meanwhile, I played along. I told Emily I was thinking about helping with the house. I made appointments with my lawyer about updating my will. I kept Natalie close, let her think she was winning. It was the hardest thing I'd ever done, watching my daughter fall deeper under this woman's spell. Emily started pulling away from her friends, from Patricia, from everyone who questioned the relationship. She quit her graphic design job, saying she wanted to help Natalie with the wellness retreat planning. She moved into Natalie's rented apartment. When I expressed concern, Emily snapped at me. I thought you were finally supportive, Mom. Don't ruin this. The morning I was supposed to sign papers co-signing the business loan, I got a call from Richard. Margaret, we have something big. I met him at his office. He showed me a recording, captured by the PI. Natalie and Marcus in a coffee shop, discussing their plan in detail. Once the old lady signs the loan, we take out the capital and transfer it. Natalie's voice was clear on the recording. The retreat business is just paperwork. We'll dissolve it within 6 months, keep the money, and move to the next city. What about the daughter? Marcus asked. I'll string her along for another few months, then create a dramatic breakup. Make it seem like her mother drove me away. She'll be so guilty, so desperate to make it up to me. She'll probably give me more money just to prove she's supportive. My hands shook as I listened. The mother's worth at least $2 million, maybe 3, Natalie continued. The restaurant alone is worth $1 million. We get the loan, get access to the will, then we can either drain her slowly or create a scenario where the daughter inherits early. What kind of scenario? Natalie's laugh was chilling. Accidents happen to women in their 60s, especially ones who are stressed about their failing relationship with their only child. Richard stopped the recording. Margaret, she's planning to hurt you, possibly worse. I sat there, processing. This woman wasn't just a con artist, she was dangerous. We need to involve the police, Richard said. Not yet. If we do, Emily will never forgive me. She'll think I sabotaged her relationship out of bigotry. I stood up, my mind racing. I need Emily to see the truth herself. At the loan signing. How? Trust me. The loan signing was scheduled for Friday at noon, at the bank's conference room. Emily insisted on being there. I want to support you both, she said, meaning me and Natalie. I arrived early with Richard. We'd arranged everything carefully. The bank's conference room had recording equipment set up, with their compliance officer present. Richard had briefed them on what we suspected. Natalie arrived looking polished and professional, wearing a rented designer suit. Marcus was with her, introduced as her business consultant. Emily came last, looking nervous but excited. This is a big day, Natalie said, squeezing Emily's hand. Your mom is investing in all of our futures. The bank officer laid out the loan documents. $500,000, with my restaurant as collateral. I picked up the pen. Then I set it down. Before I sign, I have some questions, I said calmly. Natalie's smile tightened. Of course. This wellness retreat in Asheville. I'd like to see the property deed, the business plan, the market analysis, standard due diligence. We've gone over all that, Marcus interjected. I'd like to review it again. Here, now, before signing. Natalie and Marcus exchanged glances. The documents are at my office, Natalie said. That's convenient. I pulled out my laptop, opening it to show the recording Richard had obtained. Because I have a recording I'd like everyone to hear first. I played it. Natalie's voice filled the conference room, crystal clear, discussing the scam, the plan to drain my assets, the casual mention of making sure accidents happen. Emily's face went white. What? What is this? This is your girlfriend and her partner discussing how to steal from me and possibly kill me, I said quietly. Recorded 3 days ago. That's fake. Natalie stood abruptly. She fabricated this because she's a homophobic. Sit down, Miss Kowalski. Richard's voice was ice. Or should I say, Miss Chen? Or is it back to Kowalski now? And yes, we know about Marcus Wells, too. He laid out documents on the table. The background checks, the civil suits, the statements from previous victims, the surveillance photos. Emily was reading through them, tears streaming down her face. Natalie, tell me this isn't true. Natalie tried to put her arm around Emily, but my daughter jerked away. Baby, this is all a misunderstanding. Your mother is trying to… Don't touch me. Emily's voice broke. Did you ever love me? Or was I just a mark? The bank's compliance officer spoke up. I'm required to report this to law enforcement. Miss Kowalski, Mr. Wells, you need to remain here. What happened next was chaos. Natalie tried to leave, but building security blocked the exits. Marcus attempted to delete files from his phone before the police arrived. Emily sat frozen, staring at the documents. I moved to sit beside my daughter, Emily. Don't. She held up her hand. Just don't. Not right now. The police arrived. They took statements, seized evidence, arrested both Natalie and Marcus on multiple charges: fraud, attempted extortion, conspiracy. Throughout it all, Emily sat silent, her world crumbling. When we finally left the bank, she turned to me in the parking lot. You knew. How long? About 3 weeks. 3 weeks. She laughed bitterly. You let me keep seeing her, keep believing in her. If I'd told you earlier, would you have believed me? Emily was quiet. Then, softly, no, I would have chosen her. I would have accused you of exactly what she said, of being homophobic, of hating that I'm gay. I know, sweetheart. I'm so stupid. She started crying, really crying. How did I not see it? All the red flags, all the warning signs. How did I fall for it? I pulled her into my arms. Because you loved her. Because you wanted to believe in her. That doesn't make you stupid. It makes you human. But I chose her over you. I pulled away from my friends, from Aunt Patricia. I quit my job. For someone who was planning to rob you, maybe even hurt you. But you didn't know that. And now you do. I held her tighter. And we're going to get through this together. The weeks that followed were difficult. The local news covered Natalie's arrest. 3 more victims came forward. Her social media empire collapsed as the truth came out. Emily moved back in with me. She started therapy, working through the trauma of discovering the person she loved had been lying from the start. Some days were better than others. One evening, about a month later, we were in my restaurant kitchen. I was teaching her to make my she crab soup, a recipe I'd been meaning to pass down. "You know what the worst part is?" Emily said, stirring the pot. "I keep wondering what was real. Were any of the moments real? Did she ever actually care about me, even a little? I don't know, honey. Maybe some of it was real. People are complicated." She told me I was the love of her life. Emily's voice cracked. She talked about marriage, kids, growing old together. And those were lies that felt like truth. That's what makes it so painful. We worked in silence for a while. Then Emily said, "Thank you." "For what?" "For not giving up on me. For doing what you had to do to protect me, even though you knew I might hate you for it." She turned to look at me, her eyes red. "I understand now what you meant about controlling the battlefield. You weren't controlling me. You were setting up a situation where I could see the truth for myself. You're my daughter. I would do anything to keep you safe. Even let me hate you for a while. Even that." She hugged me, and for the first time since that awful day at the bank, I felt like I was getting my daughter back. The trial happened 6 months later. Natalie and Marcus both pleaded guilty to multiple counts of fraud and attempted extortion. Combined, they had scammed over 15 people out of nearly $4 million. Emily testified, describing the manipulation, the isolation tactics, the way Natalie had systematically cut her off from her support system. It was brutal, but cathartic. When it was over, we walked out of the courthouse together. Emily had started dating again, slowly, carefully. She'd gone back to graphic design, started her own small agency. She was rebuilding her life. "Mom," she said as we got to the car, "I want to learn the restaurant business. Really learn it. If you're still planning to retire someday, I'd like to take over." I looked at her, surprised. "I thought you loved graphic design." "I do, but I also love what you built, and I think I'd be good at it." She smiled, tentative but genuine. "Plus, I need to learn how to spot manipulators and protect myself. Who better to teach me than you?" Deal. 6 months after that, Emily had become my assistant manager. She was good at it, better than I expected. She brought fresh ideas, modernized our social media, attracted a younger clientele. One night, closing up after a busy Saturday service, she found me in the office looking at old photos. "What are you doing?" she asked. "Just remembering. Your dad would be so proud of you, you know." "I hope so." She sat beside me. "I learned something through all of this." "What's that?" "That love isn't just a feeling. It's a choice, a commitment. It's Dad working 3 jobs, so you could open this restaurant. It's you spending 3 weeks gathering evidence instead of confronting me directly. It's showing up every day, even when it's hard." She picked up a photo of the 3 of us from when she was little. "Natalie taught me what false love looks like. But you taught me what real love looks like. Real love protects. Real love waits. Real love trusts you enough to let you make your own discoveries." I put my arm around her. "You're going to find that kind of love again, sweetheart. Real love. When you're ready. Maybe, but I'm not in a hurry." She stood, stretching. "Right now, I'm exactly where I need to be, learning from the strongest woman I know." 2 years later, the restaurant is thriving. Emily runs it most days now, and I've finally started taking those trips I always planned. Patricia and I just got back from France. Emily's dating someone new, a teacher named Rachel who she met at a community fundraiser. Rachel is kind, patient, and has spent 6 months getting to know our entire family before things got serious. They take things slowly, building a foundation of friendship first. Sometimes Emily still has nightmares about Natalie. Sometimes she still questions her judgment. But she's healing, growing stronger. And me? I learned that protecting the people we love sometimes means making hard choices, enduring their anger, and trusting that eventually, the truth will prevail. The clock in the restaurant chimes 6. I'm here helping Emily prep for tomorrow's brunch service when she calls me over. Mom, I want to add something to the menu. She crab soup, your recipe. But I want to call it Margaret's Love. That's sentimental. It's accurate. She smiles, because that's what it is. Love, passed down, protected, preserved. The kind of love that saves you, even when you don't know you need saving. I hug my daughter in the kitchen of the restaurant we built together, and I know that we're going to be okay. Better than okay. Because real love endures. Real love protects. And real love always, always finds a way to win.